findings and a couple of items that, well, one item in particular that got put off till June. Not put off, but we'll do an enhanced version of it in June. We often try to have a focus on something, one or two things, where we'll have a series of 2 or 3 talks. One of the things we're going to do in June is talk about NATS, identifying what NATS was originally, was identifying the bodies that are potential human exploration targets. It's getting used for some other things, and it's getting not, I don't know that long in the tooth is right, but it's been around for a while, and it's time to think about what the next step should be for it and how people would like to use it or something like it. So we're going to have a little bit of focus on that in June. Then we will have some findings. The steering committee has met the last 2 evenings after discussions and has come up with a series of things that we are going to have findings on. Let me go through them in no particular order. We are going to have a finding in support of the, and I will not remember the name of the study, but the committee that Roberta Rudnick chaired, which gave a pretty blunt assessment that the sample analysis facilities, a flat funding is really bad for that. We will have some finding about, we had a presentation on the interstellar probe. We appreciate the fact they are thinking about the things that we've got somebody in designing a mission that is basically for heliophysics, but they are thinking about the things that might be able to be done for small bodies and for other parts of NASA. And so, thank them for that and offer our support. For the mission studies in preparation for the decadal survey, I believe we talked a little bit about this, that we want to make sure that these do go forward. We had several talks about astrophysics assets. We are going to have a finding about them, sort of a combined finding about enabling a couple of things in there. One, enabling people to propose for tools, if they're developing tools for something like LSST, to make sure that those can be proposed within programs. Also endorsing the ideas that Gerb Bauer's group came up with. We are going to have one, basically, not all our findings are things we are worried about. Sometimes we ought to have a finding saying, we've had a series of missions that we had reports on that are in flight or have just finished that have done fantastic things. So that includes Hayabusa 2, OSIRIS-REx, New Horizons, and Dawn. We want to have a finding just congratulating those folks. We will have a finding about stellar occultations. Actually, it's going to be, from some of the discussion, it's going to be a little bit broader than just a finding that we need to fund stellar occultations, but it's going to be something more along the lines that we need to encourage people to think of ways to use these effectively, and then develop what we need to develop in terms of whether it's funding mechanisms, workshops, whatever. We are going to have a finding thanking the Lunar and Planetary Institute, INRES, the NASA employees who supported this meeting under very chaotic circumstances. We also want to thank the NASA employees and the contractors who worked without getting paid to enable some really great small body efforts to go on during the shutdown. And we certainly hope that this doesn't ever happen again. Not that our finding will make any difference. We are going to have a finding about Apophis, that this is an opportunity, that it will be very similar to the wording that Rick Wenzel showed, which was pretty broad, that we need to figure out how we can make use of this. And we are going to have a finding relating to our continued support of NeoCam, or at least the principle of infrared, space-based infrared surveys, and we are encouraged by the existence of the committee. That is the Committee on Near-Earth Object Observations in the Infrared and Visible Wavelength has been convened, that is going to be studying this problem again. Are there things that we as a committee did not ping on that the community pinged on from the things we discussed here? And just a reminder that what will happen is we always try to get these out within a week, and I don't think we've ever, at least while I've been chair, I don't think it's ever been less than 2 weeks, but we will get this out to the SBAG listserv. I appreciate the idea, that the suggestion that we will send this out to the PEN and the DPS newsletter as well for community input, give a couple of 2 to 3 weeks for community input, and then revise them. Any other comments or suggestions? Rick?
What's the time scale for the presentations being posted?
Time scale for the presentations being posted, it's usually relatively rapid, but given that, for instance, the people who do our website are on furlough right now, I cannot say what it will be. I would certainly hope that it wouldn't take as long as a month, but normally it would be, often it's, that evening. That's not going to happen. So, between a day and a month. Okay. At least I've got it down to 1.5 orders of magnitude. Any other comments or questions? Well, I want to thank everyone for coming. I know, and all the people who have joined us online, there have been many ways in which this has not been optimal circumstances, but I appreciate the effort that everyone made, and I actually think that we had a pretty good meeting. So I thank all of you, and again, I really thank Jolie from LPI, and I want to, Louise Proctor, who did not come in, but it was did not come into the meeting, but she's kind of been hovering, and thanks to her good graces that we are able to meet here, even though LPI is on furlough. If you know Louise, giving her a note of thanks would be appropriate. And I'm happy for all of our contractor and federal employee colleagues that I hope you will be getting paid soon. So thank you all. And we'll see you in June. And operator, we are done.